Live from the tank on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet welcomes you into coverage of East Coast Conference women's basketball, streaming exclusively on Flow College. Tonight, women's basketball opens our conference doubleheader as the College of Staten Island Dolphins go for a sweep of the season series against the D'Youville University Saints. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joe Foreman, joined on the call for the first time this season by Joe Calabrese, and this is the McDonald's pregame show. McDonald's is our scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island, and they bring you our pregame coverage ahead of every CSI Dolphins home game. And Joe, first and foremost, welcome back to CSI Sportsnet. Nick Bavona is not with us tonight, but he returns to the broadcast on Sunday. You and I will have the call this evening for what is going to be an important ECC doubleheader between CSI and D'Youville, both teams battling for a spot in the ECC playoffs.
Well, Joe, first off, thank you again for having me. My request was to have at least one game, so we're going to get two in. Already distracted, but we're going to ignore all the distractions as we're going to move here into essentially what we're looking at the ECC conference standings. CSI has a right now overall record of 8-14, but more importantly, they're 4-6. D'Youville 8-10 at 5-5. This is going to be somewhat of a return revenge game for D'Youville. CSI won by 11 earlier on this year, January 6th. I believe it was a final score of 49-38. So it's very important here because if CSI is able to win this game and take both games in the season series, they're going to move up to that fourth spot in the conference standings, and they're going to own that precious tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker always huge, and the Dolphins will have that tiebreaker advantage by virtue of a 2-0 record against D'Youville should they come away with the win here tonight. But the Dolphins are coming off a loss at Molloy on Saturday, and in that game, there were still some positives to take away. Of course, you would like to come away with the win, but there was still quite a bit to like about what we saw from the Dolphins, even in defeat.
Yes, we did. And, Joe, first, they started the game on a 13-0 run. So with the way that they finished the game, they squandered that 13-0 run. But the scoring for this team this season, it's been a little difficult in certain stretches. So definitely take a positive out of that. Coach Sarcone has kind of been tied when it comes to lineups here, right? So Juliana Ditto, 6 of 11 from the field. More importantly, 3 for 8 from downtown. She finished with the season high for her for 17 points. A little bit of a nice breakout game for her. They're going to expect her to do a couple more things here down the stretch for them. Ariel Barnes, 13, 5, and 4. Kyra Rose, 19 and 8. 7 for 9 from the free throw line. What we've seen from Kyra over the course of the last couple of weeks, she's been much improved at the line, doing a great job of picking her spots, getting to the rim, and utilizing a little bit of her back, backing down the defender, getting to the rim. She's added a couple of things to her repertoire. She's been a more complete player here, and that's kind of why we've seen a little bit of a turnaround from the Dolphins from their early season swoon.
And, Joe, I think it's fair to say, as she goes, so goes this Dolphins team. They need her to get to the line. They need her to be efficient from the stripe. They need her work on the glass. You mentioned the 8 rebounds, and they certainly need her scoring with 19 points in that game against Molloy. But you mentioned the performance by Ditto. Stitchy Barnes as well with a very nice, well-rounded game. So the Dolphins have a lot of places to turn for offense, but I don't think there's any player they rely upon for scoring more than Kyra. And speaking of CSI's opponent tonight, the Saints battled back in the fourth against the Dolphins last time these two teams met. You mentioned that game was a Dolphins win, but they were not able to overtake CSI in the closing minutes on their home floor. What stood out to you in that matchup, and how important is it for each of these two teams to come away with the win here tonight?
Well, first things first, both teams weren't particularly great. Both teams did not shoot well from the field. CSI only 27% overall, D'Youville 26%. As I mentioned in the previous point, I think the Dolphins offensively and efficiently over the course of the last couple of games here have done a much better job. We're going to highlight Kyra Rose again, 14 and 13. She had a double-double in that game. Very important that she's been good on the glass, too, because this Dolphins team in particular doesn't have a lot of size to them, so they've needed those rebounds from Kyra. Olivia Vallone, Russell suffered a knee injury and was the only Saint to double figures in that game. The Dolphins had a 51-36 advantage overall on the glass. Coach Sarcone has made this a point for them as the season has gone on, and I think they've answered the call. And CSI loss here, again, could drop them to a 7th seed in the ECC standings and have the playoffs by tomorrow. A D'Youville loss earns the CSI like I said, they'll sweep the season series 2-0. They'll get the tiebreaker out of this, and it would put the Dolphins, as of right now, to my point before, square in that 4th seed. And considering they would have the tiebreaker, DeUville would probably have to win out in order to jump them in the standings.
And that's a good point, Joe. You look at the standings right now with DeUville, a game ahead of CSI. You would think the Dolphins face a bit more of a sense of urgency tonight, but with that tiebreaker scenario and the Dolphins already having a win against DeUville in hand, it may very well be CSI that has a bit of an upper hand with more urgency on the side of DeUville tonight. Of course, the Dolphins have the advantage of this game being played on their home floor as well. That's something to keep in mind. But as we close in on the introduction of starting lineups, we will step aside and take a quick break right here. When we come back, we take a look back at Saturday's loss against Malloy as part of our Buffalo Wild Wings Game Rewind. That's coming up after this break.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Joe Foreman back with you alongside Joe Calabrese. And with just a few minutes to go before the introduction of starting lineups, let's take a look back at Saturday's game on the road against Malloy with our Buffalo Wild Wings Game Rewind. And Joe, we mentioned before, that game was a loss for the Dolphins, but a lot to like in this game. And early, Kyra Rose opens the scoring with that jumper.
And then you have Stitchy Barnes here with the rebound and the putback right here. Nice little move inside. She's been good on the boards this season, too.
And another player who's really come on in recent games, Dana Phelan. There you see her convert on the floater, count the basket, and the foul.
Stitchy Barnes once again here with a corner three.
And when she's hitting shots from the outside, it is a completely different player we see when Stitchy Barnes takes the floor. Meanwhile, Rose finishes the lay-in.
Ditto to Kane, and mid-range jumper right there.
Racky Kane, definitely a player you need to watch out for from the mid-range. Juliana Ditto, a player you have to watch out for from beyond the arc.
That's right. Then we have here, we got Ditto to Barnes on the long outlet, and a nice finish.
And here you'll see once again in heavy traffic, it is Kyra Rose, count the basket and the foul.
doing a great job this season, going and one. Ditto with another 3. Again, like I said before, breakout game.
And Phelan showing her versatility at the offensive end, likes to shoot from the outside, converts the floater.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's very good with her left hand, and then we had Shanae Edmonds there with the layup.
And Ditto with another GD3. Dolphins on the break here.
And then we have Edmonds coming in once again with another layup.
And we mentioned a couple of and ones already. This time it's Stitchy Barnes to the basket. Count it, and 1.
And what she's done really nicely this season, finishing in traffic. There she finishes around 3 D'Youville defenders and close.
That's a nice move there by Barnes. This time the ball ends up in the hands of Shanae Edmonds, and that free throw line jumper is money coming out of her hand.
And Edmonds has had a really nice jumper this season. Ditto to Edmonds here, this time for the layup.
We've seen some good ball movement from the Dolphins in this highlight reel, and a lot of good things from Stitchy Barnes as she lays it in.
Yes, and a lot of great things from Juliana Ditto as well. Another layup from her there.
And a big basket for Dorothy Weesey down the stretch as she converts on the runner, a 3-point game.
And Kyra, aggressive move to the basket, gets rewarded there and finishes the layup.
The Dolphins trailing by 3 here, under a minute to play. They get the look they want. Once again, Edmonds just beyond the free throw line. She comes up short on the jumper, and that would be the last attempt the Dolphins have. They would not score again the rest of the way as they go on to lose 72-66. So the Dolphins suffer a tough loss on the road, but as we said, Joe, there were a lot of positives to take away from that game. We got to look at some of it in our highlight package there, of course, courtesy of our friends at Buffalo Wild Wings. That was our Buffalo Wild Wings game rewind. You can visit them right around the corner on Richmond Avenue. We spend a lot of our post games over at Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's being generous.
Yeah, just about all of them.
They love us.
We will see if we make it there tonight, but the Dolphins are hoping they make it to a victory here on their home floor. As you and I think a bit ahead to our dinner plans later, the Dolphins have business to attend to, and that is coming up next here on CSI Sportsnet. Under 2 minutes to go before the introduction of starting lineups and the playing of the national anthem. When Joe and I come back, we'll meet the starters and get underway from the College of Staten Island. The Dolphins and the Saints coming up next here on Flow College.
Team Impact, we pair kids who have been sidelined by serious illness and disability with college teams from across the country.
What's up, big man? You good?
It's more than a single-day meet and greet or photo opportunity. Our program places kids on a multi-year journey, becoming true members of a collegiate athletics team.
We are Penn State.
From signing day to game day.
I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact. All in, all together.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Joe Foreman back with you here on CSI Sportsnet alongside Joe Calabrese as we get set for tip-off between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the DeUville University Saints. Tonight's East Coast Conference matchup is the second meeting of the season between these two teams. The Dolphins picked up the win on the road in a game that we covered audio only here on Sportsnet earlier this season. And Joe, as starting lineups are being introduced, you have the starting lineups for both teams.
Yes, I do. So, for the visiting DeUville Saints, we got Molly O'Toole, freshman guard. We got Allie Hall, sophomore forward. We got Ava Pearson, junior guard. Forgive me in advance. Number 13, we got a graduate student at forward, Xanthippe Karstaujau, right?
I think you did pretty well, Joe.
Okay.
Better
All
than
right.
I did on the road without the pronunciation guide.
Very good. And then we have senior guard, Morgan, John Caterino? Yeah, John Caterino. There you go. A couple of long names here for the Saints, but those are their starting five nonetheless. And for the CSI Dolphins starting five, Coach Sarcone going to go with the same five that she's been rolling with most of the season. We got freshman guard, Ariel Stitchy Barnes. We got junior forward, Shanye Edmonds. We got one of our two starting seniors, senior guard, Kyra Rose. We got junior forward, Racky Kane. And then we have senior guard, Dana Phelan. So I don't know the cadence, if that's how the lineup is delivered with the numbers and the positions and where they are, but that is the starting five for each side, Joe.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. And, well, Joe, I just found out that nobody else seemed to know that Nick was not with me tonight. I think you were expected across the way. We did have this conversation, didn't we?
We did.
I thought we did. Well, we'll have to sort that out during the next break, but we have business to attend to here at the commentary desk. The Dolphins and the Saints just moments away from getting started. Regular starting five for the Dolphins here tonight. And they take on a Saints team that looks a bit different than it did the last time the Dolphins faced off. You mentioned it during the pregame, Joe. Olivia Valone-Russell, who was playing very well in that game against the Dolphins, suffered a significant knee injury in that game, and Saints are without her tonight. So we will see how they fare without a player who meant a lot to this program and this team. That being said, they are still right in the thick of the playoff chase, 5-5 in the ECC, and it's a big game for them here tonight against the Dolphins team that has already knocked them off this year. We mentioned the importance of the tiebreaker, and if the Dolphins win tonight, they secure that tiebreaker. So it is a very important game for both of these sides. The Dolphins, as we mentioned before with a loss, could end the weekend in the number 7 seed. So that is not a place you want to be on the outside looking in.
No, would not be ideal. Just about ready to go here at the tank, Joe.
And the Dolphins control the opening tip. Stitchy Barnes will bring it across the timeline. Rose on the wing, up top to Dana Phelan. Now Racky Kane is left open. Too strong from 3. And the rebound was pulled in by John Caterino. Pearson brings it up. John Caterino on the wing. Karstaujau with it, top of the arc, swings it to the wing. O'Toole back up top as the Saints work it around the perimeter. Hall kicks out, and that 3 is an air ball by Karstaujau.
Not an ideal start for both squads here. 2 air balls on 2 long, lengthy shots.
Kane with it. Hands off to Edmonds. Now Rose looks to drive to her right, picks up her dribble and kicks out. Phelan defended by John Caterino. Kicks out to Barnes. Barnes uses the Edmonds screen and can't hit the pull-up jumper. O'Toole with it. John Caterino back outside. Karstaujau kicks out, and O'Toole knocks down the 3. Saints open the scoring. They lead it 3-0. Barnes directing traffic. Feed goes to Edmonds just beyond the free throw line. She hits Phelan, way too strong from 3. And that was knocked out of bounds by O'Toole. It stays Dolphins ball.
Yeah, Phelan a little too strong on the 3 attempt there. 0-4 from 3 in the previous game. I believe she was 0 for 8, Joe. Very uncharacteristic. She's been a very streaky 3-point shooter for the Dolphins this season. So that's her MO and her bread and butter.
Phelan's entry pass goes to Kane. She kicks out to Barnes for 3. Short off the front rim and rebounded by John Caterino. John Caterino on the wing, defended by Rose. Once again, Karastashau left open, this time too strong. John Caterino with the offensive board, sends it back outside. On the wing, Pearson knocks down another 3. Saints lead it now 6-0. Rose off the fake, drives baseline, and her cross-court pass was tipped out of bounds. It stays Dolphins ball.
Like Pearson got her hand in the way. It's enough to deflect that pass out. Like to see the Dolphins try to keep getting inside just like this, Joe.
Kane had it stripped. Picks it back up, double teamed, finds Edmonds. And Edmonds has the first Dolphin points.
Nice recovery there for Raki Kane, finding Edmonds on the other side. Edmonds with the easy 2.
Edmonds with her first 2 points of the evening, makes it 6-2. Karastashau in the corner up top. O'Toole uses the screen and feeds the cutting Hall for the easy lay-in. We saw that a lot when these two teams met the first time. The Saints hitting players, cutting to the rim. They did not finish those opportunities against the Dolphins last month when I visited Buffalo, as Rose is too strong on the jumper.
I like the idea, though. She's very good when it comes to just catching, shooting, making a quick decision, and she's pretty good from the mid-range.
Well, Joe, for some reason, our clock is not up on the scoreboard, so I'm going to try and fix that very quickly.
Okay.
There we go.
Ball's going to go out of bounds. It's going to head in the direction of the Dolphins.
So, just a brief programming and graphical note. Every game that I've watched on Sportsnet this year, there hasn't been a shot clock. And I remember saying to Nick on the air, I said, didn't we have a shot clock in the past? He told me we didn't. There it is.
Yeah,
I know Nick is listening. That's
yes, he is.
Kane backing in, and she draws the foul.
That's one thing that the Dolphins haven't really nearly done enough of this year. And again, it's a little bit because of the size issue, but Raki very good going to the basket with her back to the basket. Good job there, drawing the foul, getting to the free throw line.
And I've said it more than once already, Joe. When the Dolphins are having shooting struggles from the field, that can be remedied by getting to the line.
So we had a couple of subs in the last couple of minutes. Key sub here for the Dolphins, Juliana Ditto, entering the game very early. Again, Coach Sarcone must love what she saw from her the other night.
Kane goes 2 for 2 from the line. Dolphins within 4. And you mentioned some of the good things that Ditto did in the game against Malloy, and she's really come on the last couple of weeks as the Dolphins steal that pass. Phelan slows things down on the wing. Now Kane. Ball finds Rose in the corner. She drives the baseline and kicks out to an open Ditto. Too strong from 3.
But I like the decision there from Ditto, and that play started when Edmonds jumped the passing lane.
And that's a look the Saints have given the Dolphins plenty as O'Toole knocks down another DYU 3. Third 3 of the game for D'Youville. They lead at 11-4. Edmonds in the corner. Knocks down the jumper.
She's been very good at that all season, and she's very good from the side of the basket over there, either side.
Somebody who shoots very poorly from the corners himself. I'm always impressed when that's a shooter's best spot. 15 to shoot for D'Youville. You mentioned the subs before. Samantha Ruhlman among them for D'Youville. She wears 0. Megan Fedor also checked in for the Saints. She receives the pass on the roll to the basket, but can't finish the lay-in.
Nice job by Kane getting there and contesting that.
That's something the Dolphins did very well at D'Youville, contesting shots around the basket. And speaking of around the basket, Kyra Rose gets straight to the rim and banks it in.
She's been doing that, honestly, Joe, maybe 3 or 4 times over the course of the last month or two.
Just over 4 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Dolphins trail by 3 as Kane tipped that pass, and she will come away with the steal. Ditto with it. Feeds Edmonds. Edmonds for Phelan. Up top to Rose. She'll try the free throw line jumper off back iron, and rebounded by Fedor.
But that's a good look, and she's got no defender immediately in front of her, so I like the decision to take that shot.
That's a look that defense has been willing to give Kyra, as Ruhlman does not hesitate on the 3. It won't go. Ball loose on the floor, picked up by Rose. Dolphins look to push. Phelan off the fake, tries the 3, and knocks it down. Dana Phelan with a tough shot. Dolphins and Saints now tied at 11. Just over 3 minutes to play in the opening quarter. O'Toole will try, and she answers back with a 3 of her own.
What is that, 4 made threes for the Saints in the first 8 minutes of the game?
14 points, 12 of them coming from downtown. Kane can't hit from the mid-range. Pearson and the Saints back the other way. They lead it by 3. Kick out into the corner. Fedor fakes. Sends it back outside. Karastashow on the drive. Can't finish the layup. Edmonds across the timeline. Looks to drive. Given room. Hits the mid-range jumper.
Second time this quarter that she's been able to get to that similar spot. Hit the easy shot.
Saints by 1. Just over 2 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Once again, an open shooter for D'Youville, and this time it is Pearson from the left corner.
5 threes in the opening quarter.
It has been an impressive shooting start for D'Youville. Still waiting for our live stats to populate, or I'd tell you just how impressive.
Hopefully we'll get there.
Kane hits the turnaround.
Nice job extending over Fedor there.
Just over 90 seconds to play in the first quarter, and Joe, we have not had a media timeout. There has not been a stoppage.
Yeah, I was going to mention that about 2 minutes ago. I thought we were going to get one about the 6 and change mark during the first subs, but that wasn't the case.
O'Toole with the lay-in there. Puts the Saints back up by 4. And the shooting start for these two teams, a far cry from what we saw in Buffalo as the Dolphins turn it over. O'Toole for 3. Knocks down another. Molly O'Toole from downtown yet again. The Saints have put up 22 here in the first quarter. Edmonds short on the corner 3. And the rebound was pulled in by Fedor, poked away. And it will go out of bounds. And with 48.3 to go, I believe that should be our media timeout, Joe. And
that
indeed it is. So with that, we'll step aside and take a break. 48.3 to go in the first quarter. Dolphins trail 22-15. Joe Foreman back with you alongside Joe Calabrese with under a minute to play in the first quarter. Dolphins trailing by 7 as that feed goes inside and Hall can't finish. The outlet pass ahead to Ditto, who had it poked away. And here come the Saints back in the other direction. Hall back to the basket, defended by Weesey. And she sends it back out to Trinity Small. O'Toole, who's had a big first quarter with it. 8 to shoot now, 11 on the game clock. Kick out once again. O'Toole short on that 3. And Hall cannot convert the putback as time expires in the opening quarter. We are through 1 from the College of Staten Island. Our score, D'Youville 22 and Staten Island 15. And we are back from the tank for the start of the second quarter between the Dolphins and Saints. D'Youville in front, 22-15, as that shot was partially blocked by Edmonds. And the Dolphins get moving in transition. Edmonds, with a full head of steam, put the brakes on at the free throw line, and CSI will reset. So, Joe, it appears sidearm live stats are down, which is why you and I have paper printouts.
Right.
Not often we have to work off the paper, but we make adjustments when needed.
It's all right. Just throw me into the fire, why don't you?
And that shot was partially blocked as well. Good defense by Hall on the attempted lay-in by Edmonds. O'Toole with it. She had a big first quarter. O'Toole was 5 of 6 from the field and 4 of 5 from downtown in the opening quarter. She had 14 points. As that hook shot is good off glass by Fedor. Dolphins now trail by 9. And this looks like a completely different Saints team than what the Dolphins faced in January. Phelan gains a step off the dribble, throws one up, and nearly put it in.
I like the idea, though. It's like I said in the pregame. I like when she goes to the left.
You know, shame on me for not paying close enough attention as the Dolphins force another turnover. But I should be able to say this with confidence as Rose can't finish and draws a foul in the second attempt. She shoots right-handed, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
But she's
runners
capable.
are with the left.
Her runners are
Almost
with the left.
always.
She cuts to the left, and I think that's what sometimes throws defenses for a little bit of a loop. But to talk about Kyra, Kyra Rose, she's about to go to the line. Very good job running the full length of the floor.
And Rose a bit too strong on the first free throw.
But she has been much better from the line, and that has been something that the coaches here at the College of Staten Island have worked on with her.
Second free throw by Rose, also no good. And Joe, the commentator's jinx remains undefeated.
I don't believe in that nonsense. You know that.
Well, I'm not a very superstitious fellow, but the commentator's jinx is alive and well as long as I have a headset on. 10 years strong here at CSI. Dolphins harassing the Saints on the perimeter now. Now Stashow on the drive. Sends it back out. And Pearson's off from 3. Barnes up the floor. Spins and finds Edmonds. Edmonds is blocked by Fedor. More good interior defense from D'Youville. We've seen that from the Dolphins in this game as well, but that time it was the Saints with the rejection of Edmonds inside. Now Pearson crosses over. Karastashow back to the basket outside. And the 3 from the corner is good by Pearson.
Was that 6 threes now?
Saints now lead this game by 12, and that was their 7th three. 27 points, 21 of them coming from downtown.
We're at the 7-minute mark in the second quarter as Barnes makes a nice cut. Nice shot by Dorothy Weesey finding her.
And that's as good ball movement as we've seen from the Dolphins in this game. That was something we noted when we took a look back at the game against Malloy in our Buffalo Wild Wings game rewind. There was some good ball movement from the Dolphins in that game as well. The D'Youville lead is 10. 6.5 to play in the first half. Pearson off the side of the backboard this time, and it was touched out of bounds along the baseline. It'll be Dolphins ball. Gemma Singer will check in for the Dolphins here. Singer uses the Weesey screen. Now Edmonds for Rose. Up top to Phelan for 3. Splash. Dolphins back to within 7 now. Just over 6 minutes to play in the second quarter. Ruhlman into the corner for John Catarino. Back out to O'Toole. 10 to shoot. Karastashow off the crossover. Was doubled. Had it poked away. Now John Catarino throws one up and nearly in as the shot clock was about to expire.
Yeah, the Saints were able to find the mismatch there as Gemma Singer. Her height is 5'5", so definitely a mismatch. The Saints going to the line here.
That camera to my left is drifting a bit, Joe. We had that anchored in the right position, so we'll fix that.
Okay.
All right. Saints by 8. Phelan for 3. Air ball. You said it, Joe. She's been streaky this season. When she's on,
she's a difference maker.
Yeah.
She had a 30-point game a couple of games ago.
When she's on, she can shoot with the best in the ECC. Dolphins are going to need those shots to fall if they're going to be a serious contender in the postseason and lock up a home game in the postseason down the stretch as Karastashow gets to the rim and puts it in with the left hand.
Yeah, she had Edmonds beat by a step there.
Saints back ahead by double digits. They lead it by 10. High pass reeled in by Rose. Now Phelan for 3. Splash. That's a big shot by Phelan as the Saints threaten to pull away late in this second quarter. The Dolphins have to keep them at arm's length.
Well, I think in order to do that, no matter how difficult the shooting woes are for Phelan, she's got to keep shooting because they need that offense from her.
And wouldn't you know it, Joe, another answer from Molly O'Toole. She's been on fire here in this first half, and the Saints lead it by double figures again.
What does she have now, 5 or 6 made threes?
I believe that was number 5. Phelan into Kane. Back out to Phelan for 3. Splash! And with Dana heating up, the Dolphins get infinitely more dangerous at the offensive end of the floor. Her shooting opens up opportunities for every other player out there on the floor.
And the same logic, I think, applies to Juliana Ditto, too. She's not on the court at the moment, but they're the 2 3-point shooters that Coach Sarcone needs from this offense.
CSI right back to within 7, but they need some stops. Three-pointer on the way, in and out for Pearson.
Seems like the Saints are just, they're okay with semi-contested 3-point looks.
Phelan to Rose. Rose from just beyond the free throw line can't connect. It's been a tough shooting start in this game for Cairo. Did get to the line a bit earlier, but did not convert on the free throws.
All right, I have to include this. No media timeout again in the second quarter.
Not yet.
Not yet, but we're under 3 minutes now.
This is shaping up to be the quickest first half we've ever covered, as Ruhlman puts up an air ball. Rose finds Kane. Singer. Back to Rose. Cross-court pass to an open Kane. Short on the jumper. Edmonds with the rebound, but she saved it to Pearson. John Catarino finds Ruhlman underneath. Good recovery there on defense by Rose. Now Pearson on the drive. Tied up. And the short jumper no good off the window by Ruhlman.
Nice job by Singer using the baseline as the 6th defender.
That is how it's done in that area of the floor. It's always how we were coached. The limited coaching I did receive, that was part of it.
That's right.
As Edmonds had it poked away. .20 to shoot for the Saints. John Catarino hands off to O'Toole. O'Toole crosses over to her left. Phelan all over her from 3. Now 8 to shoot. John Catarino with it, looks to drive. And Kane strips it away. Kane up the floor, gets to the rim, count it, and the foul. Raki Kane with a strong, aggressive move to the basket off the steal. She gets it done at both ends of the floor. First with the strip on defense, and then at the other end is able to score it on offense. Here's one more look at it as we head to a media timeout. When we come back, Raki Kane heads to the line for one shot as she gets to the basket and converts the and one. Our score, D'Youville 33, Staten Island 28, 1:25 to go as we reach our first media timeout of the second quarter. Racky Kane to the line for CSI. One shot coming up. And it rattles out, no good. Deficit for CSI is 5. Just over a minute to play in the second quarter. Big mismatch inside, but good help defense from Weesey generates the turnover. These last 60 seconds could really swing this half. The Dolphins could potentially get even or get within one possession. They could just as easily go down double digits again. Phelan for Kane. Now Singer with 8 to shoot. Looks up at the shot clock, calls for a screen. 4 to shoot. Singer's pull-up is blocked. Couldn't tell if that was tipped or way short, but it was blocked. And now D'Youville will have a chance with just over 30 seconds to play in the half. John Caterino for Pearson. 8 to shoot. Another 3 from the corner is good by Pearson. Dolphins left with 8 seconds. Barnes looks toward the bench. Barnes on the drive. Gets inside and cannot finish. And that will do it for the first half. Our score at halftime, D'Youville 36, Staten Island 28. In just a few moments, Joe will be joined courtside by women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone. We'll be right back. And we are back for our TLC Physical Therapy Halftime Report. Joe is joined down on the floor by women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone.
Coach Sarcone, 9 3-pointers for D'Youville in the first half. What didn't you like from your defense?
I mean, we talked about it coming into this game. When we went to their place, they didn't shoot the ball well, and we know that's not like them. So we told our girls that we need to expect them to knock it down. I think a few too many we overhelped, and we let them get clean kickouts. And our hands aren't up quick enough. So we got to have more of a sense of urgency, knowing that this is what they want to do, and this is what they can do.
Now it seems like your team settled for some shots from the outside, trying to play the game that they dictated, right? How do you change that in the second half?
Yeah, we got to draw them out a little bit. We got to move ourselves. We need to have more movement first before we start attacking the rim. They're showing a lot of help when we touch the ball inside. We got to stop putting the ball on the floor, kick out, and look to move it. But we got to move first before we start attacking. They're packing the paint.
All right, thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Back to you, Joe.
That is our TLC Physical Therapy Halftime Report with women's basketball head coach Nicole Sarcone. As always, we thank her for her time as she was kind enough to join us at the halftime break. Our score as we have reached halftime here at the Tank, D'Youville 36, Staten Island 28. When we come back, the second half gets underway from the College of Staten Island. Joe Foreman and Joe Calabrese back with you here on CSI Sportsnet as we get set to begin the third quarter with the Dolphins trailing 36-28. And Joe, you talked about it with Coach Sarcone. D'Youville shot the lights out from beyond the arc in that first half, 9 of 17. Is that sustainable? Do the Dolphins really have to change their approach defensively to slow that down? What do you think needs to happen here in this third quarter?
So both the questions that I asked her, similar points, right? One, how do you stop the three? And two, how do you not allow your team to kind of play the kind of game that the Saints wanted to play? Listen, 28 field goals attempts, 17 were from three, right? So at the very least, her message at the very start of this half should be, listen, pressure them up top, prevent that shot, and then see what you get from that point on. So this score could be a lot worse. Phelan hit a couple of three-pointers. They got a couple of key baskets from Rocky Kane and Shanye Edmonds, and it's only an 8-point game. And as of right now, if you can stop the three and limit that damage in the second half, it's a winnable game.
No question about it. Dolphins will possess it first to begin the third quarter as we are back to action here at the Tank. D'Youville over CSI by 8 as we begin the third. Edmonds with her back to the basket along the baseline. Wanted to feed Kane. Phelan keeps it in for CSI with 15 to shoot. Rose looked to drive, immediately doubled. And Dolphins fortunate that they will keep it here.
Yeah, it's deflected off a Saints hand and out of bounds. So 12 on the shot clock. Rose on the inbound.
Edmonds hands off to Rose, 8 to shoot. And Kyra's jump shot won't go from just beyond the free throw line, but CSI will keep it.
Nice job by Kane getting involved there. Feels like the ball almost was deflected off of her, but good contest nonetheless. Dolphins going to have 20 on the shot clock. Rose again on the inbound.
Phelan was fouled. Count the basket and one. Dana Phelan with a chance to complete a 4-point play. We'll get one more look at it right here. Phelan falling away, not much contact, but just enough to draw that whistle. And Phelan heads to the line for one shot. Her free throw is good. And the Dolphins are back to within 4. All right, Joe, we need to give you a camera switching tutorial here. So to switch the camera, you click here and then hit the switch.
Okay. There we go.
I don't know what Nick taught you.
He taught me dissolve, and I thought that went to the next camera.
No,
so.
no.
Okay.
You click the feed you want and then switch.
All right. Well, we're getting there.
I'll have to give Nick a tutorial in teaching.
Nick, go enjoy the St. John's game. Looks like a travel there.
Yes. It turns out Nick could not watch the game because I had to change my Flow login. So Nick, unfortunately, was not able to tune in, did not hear himself name drop during the first half. But my regular color commentary partner, Nicholas Pavona, back with me on Sunday as the Dolphins take on Damon. Meanwhile, Barnes a bit short on that jumper. Karastashau with the rebound. John Catarino kicks out to O'Toole. Phelan defending closely. O'Toole, floater from the baseline is good off glass.
So the Dolphins on that possession, much better job putting pressure up top. But again, it's like you can't get that. You can't just stop there.
Barnes hands off to Rose, now Edmonds. Her mid-range jumper a bit too strong, and the rebound was pulled in by Hall. John Catarino tied up. Good defense by Rose, and that wild shot won't go. Here come the Dolphins. Rose looking to go coast to coast. Can't finish with the left. The putback won't go, and the rebound is tracked down by Pearson. John Catarino back outside. Pearson. Karastashau looking to feed it inside. Good job there by Barnes.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Hall.
There's a size mismatch, but she's working down low to compensate for that.
And the pull-up is good off glass.
Saints have used glass a couple of times in this game so far.
Well, the Dolphins defended that possession pretty well, but the Saints finding ways to put the ball in the basket, be it unorthodox or from downtown. They have been very good offensively in this game.
I think Coach Sarcone will take contested defense, preventing those easy threes, and a couple of them came easy to the Saints in the first half.
Well, DeUville, as we mentioned, shot over 50% from three in the first half as Kane was fouled, but they also shot over 46% from the field in that first half. .20 on the shot clock here as substitutions delay the Dolphins inbound briefly. Rose the inbounder along the baseline. Barnes for Edmonds, out to Phelan. Phelan thought about it, now feeds Kane in the post. Kane backing in on Hall, was stifled, and jump ball's called. Possession arrow favors DeUville, and possession goes right back to the Saints, leading by 8.
Another good interior defensive play there by Allie Hall. But to prevent Kane from going up with it cleanly.
O'Toole thought about it on the step back. This is Ruhlman using the screen from Hall. She pulls up and comes up short. Rose with the rebound. Dolphins up the floor quickly. Barnes crosses over. This is Kane at the free throw line, in and out. And the rebound goes to Pearson. Bounce pass, shot fake, and Fedor lays it in.
So since Phelan's 3 and the 1, Dolphins have gone cold here the last 3 minutes or so.
And we've said it on the air many times this year, Joe. The third quarter has not been kind to the Dolphins in many games. And outside of that basket by Phelan, they haven't had much. They turn it over again on that last trip down the floor. Now Fedor goes at Edmonds and is rejected.
Nice shot by Edmonds staying in front.
Great defense by Edmonds. Tough shot by Barnes, and she was blocked as well. Ruhlman with an easy 2, and that's too easy. As that will prompt a timeout from Nicole Sarcone, with the Saints now leading by 12 once again. 5:26 to go in the third. DeUville in front of Staten Island, 44-32. .5:26 to go in the third quarter with the Dolphins trailing by 12. And you said it, Joe, they've gone ice cold since the and 1 from 3 by Dana Phelan.
They're going with a little more of an offensive lineup here as Juliana Ditto comes in the game.
Rose thought about the jumper, and I think we've seen Kyra Rose attempt more jumpers in this game than we have in any game this season.
But again, I like the decision, especially if you have a little bit of space in front of her, which, you know, when she takes that shot, she normally does.
This is Weesey, bounce pass for Edmonds, almost got away, 2 to shoot, and that's what you call the grenade, Joe.
That's right, Rose got caught in the middle of an up and down. She travels, possession arrows going to the Saints. Looks like we have another timeout.
That's our media timeout. 4:56 to go in the third quarter. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Just under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter with the Dolphins trailing 44-32. And Joe, back in the first quarter, both teams got off to a pretty good offensive start, but Saints really haven't slowed down since. The Dolphins had 15 points at about, I'd say, 3 minutes remaining in the first, and since then have scored just 17.
They've done a much better job of preventing that three-point shot from the Saints, but the Saints have able to break down the defense a little bit, as they're doing right here, Joe. Nice block by Dorothy Weesey. Looked like a block. Looks like she's going to get called for a foul.
I think she got called for a technical, Joe. Or perhaps not. Did they call her for a shooting foul? I think that was a clean block and a technical, Joe, and indeed it was.
Okay, so we were right. Block, and she got teed up.
Get a replay on that, Joe. I don't think you'll be able to see it. We might have been a bit late.
Yeah, I think so.
But no, we can definitely see it from that angle. All right, so first of all, let me see. Yeah, the controls here. First free throw, good. I want to see if we can spot what happened at the end of this play. We'll get a look after this free throw as O'Toole goes 2 for 2. So let's see here. Oh, yeah, that is definitely a technical foul.
That's right. She said something. We couldn't hear it.
Yeah. Yeah, she said something very demonstratively in the face of the offensive player. That was Fedora on the drive. The 2 technical free throws. Good by O'Toole. And Dieuville now leads by 14.
Got to avoid those self-inflicted wounds, especially coming off a very clean block like that.
That's a great defensive play, but you can't give those 2 points away and then possession with a technical.
Right, especially at this juncture of the game.
And Pearson nearly had a chance at a 4-point play from the corner where she shot the ball very well in this game. She will head to the line for 3, and this has a chance to become a 5-point possession.
And I was going to say, for everybody watching at home, that corner spot to the right of the screen is very difficult to see. I don't think Juliana Ditto fully allowed her to come down into that space, which is why it was called a foul.
And the first free throw is good. All right, so Joe, to switch the camera, it is 1 click, dissolve. You don't need to double click.
Okay.
No extra clicks. And then when they're at the line, all you have to do here is click dissolve because you see your green outline. That's the camera that it would switch to.
There you go.
Red is live, green is the would-be switch. And the Dolphins narrowly come away with that rebound. The deficit is 16 points, just over 4 minutes to play in the quarter. Rose out to Ditto, and fortunately for the Dolphins, Juliana pulled her hand away at the last moment. Stitchy Barnes will check in for CSI here.
The Dolphins are going very small over here with both, with all Barnes, Phelan, and Ditto on the court.
Barnes in the corner, 10 to shoot. Phelan with the left, can't get it to go, and Weesey couldn't snatch in the rebound, had it poked away from behind.
Very frustrating for the Dolphins here. They've had a couple of decent looks at it. Haven't been nearly as efficient as the Saints.
Well, you said it, Joe, as the Travelers called there. Saints do have a size advantage. In the first meeting, they really looked to attack the Dolphins in the paint, in this game, it's been almost an entirely different game plan with a lot of outside shots. And the Dolphins really haven't had an answer for it. They've shot it pretty well from downtown in this game. Not as well as the first half here in half number 2, but still efficient. As Phelan's runner results in a whistle and a foul call, Dana will head to the line. All right, Joe, single click, and then you have to hit dissolve. There you go.
There you go.
I'm watching you struggle, and I'm baffled as the free throw rattles out for Phelan. So then all you have to do to get back now is
Just
click dissolve,
dissolve once?
Yes.
Okay.
And Phelan goes 1 for 2. Well, if there's one thing the Dolphins can't afford now, trailing by 15, it's to miss free throws. When you get to the line, you have to make something of those opportunities. Pearson off the crossover, back outside for Hall, and Saints throw it away.
If you're going to chop into a 15-point deficit, that'll help.
Phelan feeds Edmonds. Now Weesey left open. And her jumper's no good off back iron. Barnes has her hands on it. And jump ball was the call. Possession arrow favors CSI.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joe, it looked like an over-the-back foul on number 11, Allie Hall. That's one thing I will say that Stitch is very, very good at. Relative to her size, she gets inside like that, and she goes for those rebounds, and she gets a bunch of them.
Barnes with a tough shot, draws contact, and will head to the line. And I think if you're the Dolphins right now, this is an area where you can find some success. Attack the basket, get to the free throw line, and chip away from there. Still plenty of time left in this game. And Barnes misses another free throw. And Barnes goes 1 for 2.
The free throw issue, more self-inflicted wounds. But again, Joe, you had it right. Right idea. Get some easy points. You still have a lot of time on the clock. You still got 2.5 plus here in this third quarter. Got the full length of the fourth quarter coming up.
Dolphins doing well defensively here. D'Youville struggling to find space with 6 to shoot. Ruhlman has Barnes right with her. 2 on the shot clock. And Karastashau can't hit the 3. Here come the Dolphins back the other way. Phelan on the drive. Puts it up and in. Right back the other way come the Saints. And it's now a 12-point game.
Told you, Jeff. What is up, Jeff?
Jeff.
Joe.
Did you call a game with Jeff earlier?
I did.
Makes sense.
We
employ a Jeff?
No.
Okay.
It was like I was saying, she's very effective when she goes to her left side.
O'Toole lost it.
It's like another jump ball.
Jump ball was called. Possession arrow to CSI.
You know, I don't think the Dolphins have played bad defense in this game. Have you? What do you think?
Well, I said during the first half,
they forced a
Joe,
couple of turnovers.
As we came back from the halftime break, I said, and I asked you the question, was the D'Youville shooting sustainable? I don't think the issue for the Dolphins has been forcing tough shots around the rim.
Right.
I think it's been maybe closeouts that are a bit late, but even then, is that shooting sustainable? I think generally the answer is probably not.
Right.
So if you can stay the course and score consistently yourself.
I was going to say, in order to match the hot shooting, you're going to have a stretch yourself of hot shooting. And they simply, up to this point, almost through 3 quarters, have not had that.
Well, that would have been a big basket for Ditto if she could have knocked down that 3. Instead, Saints look for a 3 of their own, and it's another air ball from the corner for Ruhlman, but the Dolphins could not bring in the rebound. Good effort by Fedor. It stays D'Youville basketball. Just over a minute to play here in the third. Saints in front by 12. Kick out to Ruhlman. She'll try again and can't hit. We said it at the end of the first half. It was a big 60 seconds. The Dolphins were a -3 to end the first half, and they have 2 quick points from Stitchy Barnes here late in the third quarter. All right, so Joe, let me show you something. When you look to trim, you have to hit the solid rectangular bar.
Okay. Make a note of that.
And the Saints throw it away.
Another turnover forced by the Dolphins. Dana.
Off the fake. Can't get the turnaround to go, but it's going to stay Dolphins ball. That's a good effort on the glass by Edmonds. And the Dolphins could hold for the final shot here.
I mean, that's what I would do.
About a 1.3 second differential between shot clock and game clock.
That's exactly what they're going to do.
Well, I mentioned it before. Saints looked to play from behind late against the Dolphins when CSI visited. Dolphins are going to find themselves in a similar spot here tonight. Phelan puts one up and short as Weesey was blocked on the attempted putback. That will do it for the third quarter. Our score through 3, D'Youville 48, Staten Island 38. Fourth quarter coming up after this break. Fourth quarter getting underway from the College of Staten Island, or at least we thought so, Joe. They called a shot clock violation and put 1.3 up on the clock.
I saw that.
Because Weesey was blocked. Now, the two teams were at their benches for a couple of minutes, and then they brought them back out and played out the final 1.3. So we will head to break once more, and then we'll have the start of the fourth quarter. Our score, D'Youville 48, CSI 38. For a second time, at least by our estimation, the fourth quarter is about to get underway here from the tank. We don't have live stats to consult, Joe, but there had to be a timeout called after the shot clock violation near the end of the third. Saints did not get a shot off on the following possession, and they have it first to begin the fourth. O'Toole on the step back, can't hit. And a foul was called underneath against Hall.
Looks like another over the back. Great job by Shanye Edmonds. Boxing out on that rebound. No, it's only a 10-point game, Joe. And again, the Dolphins, they forced a couple of turnovers in the third quarter. Probably not shooting nearly as well as you would hope for. But again, it's still a manageable deficit for them.
And I think with a foul committed that quickly by the Saints, immediately you have to be thinking early bonus. If you're the Dolphins, you can get into an early bonus situation. That could really assist in this comeback bid. As Ditto knocks down the deep two. That's a big basket by Ditto, who had an opportunity late in that third quarter on a three-pointer. I believe that would have made it a 7-point game at the time as Weesey comes up with another block.
Their second block of the game. Very clean. This time no extra afterwards.
Phelan can't hit this time, but Edmonds has the rebound and throws it off the foot of Barnes.
A little bit of a rushed pass there. Barnes was not expecting that. Again, between the cold shooting, the streaky shooting, and the self-inflicted wounds. That's why this is an 8-point game, Joe.
Karastashau knocks down the three, and it looked like one of the Dolphins got taken out by a screen along the baseline. But that's a big basket for D'Youville to slow the CSI momentum. Phelan for Edmonds. Edmonds steps through and lays it in. Edmonds pulls the Dolphins back to within single digits. They trail by 9. Pearson swings it to Karastashau. Fedor, short pass to O'Toole. O'Toole off the hesitation, kicks to the corner. John Caterino off the front rim, can't hit. And the Dolphins once again have it trailing by 9.
Nice job by Edmonds boxing out again.
And Ditto can't convert the lay-in. Edmonds with the rebound was blocked. And Ditto will find Edmonds again. And she can't convert the lay-in. And now Jean Caterino was ahead of the field, but she lost it. Dolphins right back the other way. Barnes. She was given plenty of room there.
Yeah, I was going to say she had some room to drive there.
I thought she'd just shoot it.
Looked slightly fatigued, was waiting for her teammates to come back into the play.
Yeah, Edmonds, no doubt. She was going to shoot that one from the free throw line. Can't hit.
She's been key here. A couple of good sequences on the boards, both offensive and defensive in the last couple of minutes here.
Fedor out to O'Toole, and that three-pointer is good. And very easily, Joe, they could have called Ditto for a foul there.
Yeah, I agree.
Ditto met at the rim by Fedor, and she wanted a call, did not get it.
Yeah, I think that was a clean play. Fedor had both her arms extended up in the air.
Pearson kicks out. Karastashau for 3. And the Saints now lead it by 15. As Nicole Sarcone will call timeout. D'Youville has once again found the stroke to begin this fourth quarter. And with 6:31 remaining, they lead the Dolphins by 15. Our score, the Saints 57 and the Dolphins 42. And we are back from the tank with 6:31 to play. Dolphins in a tough spot, trailing by 15 here in the late stages. Joe, what needs to happen for them to make this comeback?
Well, they're going to get some good looks here in the final couple of minutes. Haven't really been able to match the Saints. I think, like I said, they've been playing good defense. They forced a couple turnovers. I think the rebound issue, which was a prevalent issue early in the season, isn't so much anymore. Nice shot by Rocky Kane there on that little hook shot from the interior. You know, unfortunately, I would say you got to do that, but, you know, at 6 minutes, you know, I don't know how much of that you're going to get in the final stretches of this game.
Ruhlman with it. Now Pearson in the corner where she's done a lot of damage in this game, and it's another open three. This time Karastashow knocks it down.
The Saints very clearly had a game plan here, Joe. We're looking at, 13 or 14 made threes in this game alone?
Well, we don't have the live stats, Joe. I was taking a look at it during the break, but unfortunately I'm on a very old MacBook tonight. It's a bit slow. Weesey feeds Rose, and Rose can't finish in close. She thought she was fouled. Karastashow driving against Kane. Now Pearson from the corner. Off the mark. Ditto with the rebound. And we're getting to about that point in the game where the Dolphins are going to have to play quickly.
Not only are you going to have to play quickly, can't trade baskets at this point. Going to need a couple of stops in a row.
And Rose draws the foul.
Definitely fouled there.
Well, I said it before, Joe. Earlier in the quarter, Saints fouled immediately, less than a minute in. And if you're the Dolphins, you had to be thinking about maybe getting into an early bonus at that time. That foul right there is the first foul since. And in this game, Joe, the halftime foul tally was 1. So it's been that kind of game. There have not been very many whistles, and it's been consistently officiated all the way through. I think you need to know that if you're these two teams. And with the Saints hitting so many shots from the outside, I think that plays to their advantage.
Yeah, it's been a relatively clean game. Again, I think both teams have played good defense. I do think the Dolphins have played very good defense in this game, but some more self-inflicted wounds here because Kyra makes that one, but Rose, before that, went 0 for 3 from the line in her previous free throw attempts.
Well, I said it earlier in the game, Joe. The Dolphins trailing by double digits for a lot of this game. Couldn't afford to leave points at the line, and they did that on more than one occasion, even earlier in the game, before the deficit grew. But neither team has gotten to the line that much, as that jumper is good for Hall. Looked like Kane almost got a piece of that shot.
Yeah, I think she did actually deflect it a little bit.
Yeah. Hall certainly thought so. There's a good feed from Weesey, and Barnes draws the foul.
Dolphins doing a good job of getting close here in the fourth quarter, but again, with 4:20 left and you're down 17, trading baskets is not going to help the cause.
Well, something that we mentioned during our last broadcast is that looking ahead to the schedule beyond the Malloy game, Nick and I were talking about when our next broadcast would be. That, of course, for Nick and I will be Sunday, but for you and I, that next game was tonight. And beyond the Malloy game that the Dolphins played over the weekend as Barnes misses another free throw, but beyond the Malloy game, 4 of their last 5 games are here at home, including this one. So the Dolphins will have that advantage moving forward, but we said it during the pregame, Joe. If they lose this game, which it appears could happen and may even be likely at this point, they could very easily fall down as far as the 7 seed by the time they take the court on Sunday. Fake by Karastashow. She nearly lost it along the baseline. Now Pearson getting direction from the bench up top. Fedor with the screen. Hand off to O'Toole, and it is a moving screen by Pearson. Under 4 minutes to play, Dolphins trail by 16. And they will need to work quickly here. Saints do have 14 fouls. Weesey hands off to Phelan. Phelan for 3. Short. And Karastashow looks to push. But the bench will instruct her to slow things down a bit. O'Toole on the step back, knocks it down.
It's been that kind of night here for the Dolphins at the tank.
Kane backing in, she's doubled. Rose in the corner, backing in on her own now. Dolphins working around the horn, and that's stolen by Fedor Ruhlman all alone, and she lays it in. And that just might do it, Joe.
Yep, from a 10-point deficit, it has now ballooned to 20. And we are under 3 minutes remaining here. And the Dolphins look like they're going to be running out of time and staring at 4-7 in the conference.
Well, beginning on Sunday, as we see, can't hit the jumper, but it may very well be desperation time. I hate to use that word with 4 games left on the conference schedule, but you look at the game on Sunday, you're taking on a Damon team that, of course, has played extremely well, ranked team. So you have that matchup looming on Sunday. Then when you look down the remainder of the schedule, the good news for the Dolphins, on top of having several home games, is that you're only facing teams in the bottom half of the standings.
Right.
So
the schedule breaks out favorably just a little bit. But again, at 4-7, right, with that Damon matchup looming on Sunday, you're looking at a scenario where you may have to win 3 of the remaining 4 conference games.
Well, after Sunday, they have 3 left, as that 3 is good by Stitchy Barnes. Dolphins back to within 17, but time has run out on the CSI comeback bid. And Joe, we'll stay right here as we'll talk a bit more about what's to come for this Dolphins team and dive a bit deeper into the conference standings. And you were right, Joe. There are 4 games left after Sunday. I just can't count. So that's on me. That's on me.
Don't worry about it.
But nonetheless, the Dolphins face the number 13 Wildcats on Sunday, a team that knocked them off the first time that they faced one another in Amherst earlier this year. After that, you have UDC, Roberts, Queens, and Malloy. So what I should have said is that 3 of your last 4 games are against teams that are right now in the bottom half of the standings. That could change following this weekend, but a lot of very important basketball left on the schedule. Dolphins, meanwhile, in a scheduling note, the women will play second on Saturday, February 14th. That game is the back half of the doubleheader because men's basketball will be hosting their Alumni Day ahead of the early game. So men's basketball at 1, women's basketball at 3. I'll be here at the tank for game 1. I then have to get in my vehicle and work my way over to Rutgers in East Brunswick, hopefully getting there in time to cover the women's game remotely. If I can make the pregame, I'll be on the call. Just over 90 seconds to play, and Saints lead it by 17. They're content to dribble away as much time as they can here. 7 to shoot now. Karastashau on the step back, rattles it in.
It'll be very interesting to see what the Saints shot in this game, Joe. They've been very, very efficient. It would not surprise me if they're shooting close to 50% from the floor. Once again, we don't have the live stats, so we can't get that number for you exactly.
They had a bit of a cold spell late in the third, but I think a lot of that was turnovers as opposed to missed shots.
Yeah, I mean, the effort, again, especially towards the tail end of that third quarter, the effort defensively for the Dolphins was there. I thought for the most part it was there in the first half. Sometimes you just, again, in order to match a hot shooting team, you have to be shooting hot yourself. And the Dolphins did not get enough of that in this game.
1:14 to go as the Saints send Lucy Hatcher into the game. Dolphins with their starting 5 still out there. Just over a minute to go. Rose feeds Edmonds. Edmonds lays it in. Well, those are the kinds of looks that the Dolphins needed more of in this game. And with much of this game being spent at a size disadvantage for them, with the Saints having 2 bigs in, it's tough to get those kind of looks. But now Fedor is on the bench and Hall is on the bench late in this game. And with that opportunity, you see what could have been if the Dolphins were matched up a bit better in terms of size. That jumper won't go, and the Dolphins come back the other way for what will likely be their last possession of the game. Kane looking to back in on Hatcher. Draws the foul. So Racky Kane will head to the line for 2 shots. And for the Dolphins, as you said, Joe, they're going to fall 4-7 in conference play. And perhaps even more importantly on the side of D'Youville, they avoid conceding the tiebreaker to the Dolphins by winning this game, and that is big.
I'm going to say that's probably the most important aspect of this game. It's going to be incredibly hard for the Dolphins to drop, based on the pregame, to 7th and then try to work their way back up and move ahead of teams who are in front of them.
Well, I think your goal entering these final 5 weeks, a realistic goal, especially, I think mathematically the best they could do was first-round home game. I think they were already mathematically eliminated from achieving a top 5 seed. I could be wrong on that. Maybe they were 1 loss away from being eliminated, as Edmonds has the lay-in. But nonetheless, if you're the Dolphins, I think you were hoping to host a first-round playoff game should you make the postseason. That's still possible, but it becomes a bit more unlikely with this result. And I said it during the pregame as well, Joe. Even though D'Youville was the team with the better record coming in, you could argue they needed this win more because of that tiebreaker scenario. The Dolphins, with a win, obviously would have leapfrogged them in the standings as well. So there was a lot on the line for D'Youville here tonight. And credit to them coming on the road, making the trip from Buffalo, and picking up a win here at the Tank.
It's incredibly interesting to see what the game plan was for them, because these 2 games, the first game that they played at D'Youville and this game, night and day, 2 entirely different games.
They looked to attack around the rim a lot more in the first meeting. They tried to get the Dolphins in bad switches, particularly off the pick and roll. And the Dolphins did a really good job, even when mismatched at the basket, at contesting. And tonight, D'Youville just effectively beat them into submission with 3-pointers.
I was going to say, they let it fly, and they made a few, and they stayed hot. And that'll do it.
Saints come into the Tank and knock off the Dolphins. Our final score, D'Youville 68, Staten Island 54. This game is the first of 2 here at the College of Staten Island tonight. Coming up next, our men's basketball doubleheader as the Dolphins take on the Saints on the men's side coming up shortly. This has been Joe Foreman on the call alongside Joe Calabrese. We'll be back here on CSI Sportsnet shortly, as they've already reset our scoreboard and our clock for warm-ups as the men's teams take the floor. That game coming up next. Be sure to join us back here on CSI Sportsnet, as always, streaming exclusively on Flow College.